These Sicilian almond cookies are sweet, chewy, and will leave you wanting more. Let me show you how to make them. To a bowl, add 224 grams or 2 cups of almond flour. To this, you want to sift in 200 grams or 1 2/3 cup of powdered or icing sugar. I live in a particularly humid area, so I get quite large lumps in my powdered sugar. Sometimes you just have to push them through with your fingers. But the easiest method, if your powdered sugar is lumpy, is just to whiz it through your food processor. I just didn't want to do more dishes. Whisk that together so the almond flour and the powdered sugar are combined. Because we're piping this recipe, we don't really want any lumps in it, so try and break them up as best as you can. Otherwise, they might clog up your piping bag.
Next, add in the zest of half an orange. You'll need about a teaspoon or so. My orange is quite large, but if you have a small orange, you can just use the zest of the whole thing.
Now add in the zest of 1 lemon. My lemon is particularly small on this occasion, so I'm using the entire zest. But if you have a large lemon, you can just use half. Again, equivalent to about a teaspoon. And you can leave the zest out if you want. It's not necessary, it just adds a nice burst of flavor. Now add in about 1/8 of a teaspoon, so like half a gram of almond extract. If you haven't got almond extract, you can use vanilla extract. That's absolutely fine. Just add a little bit more. Almond is very potent. Now give that a whisk together. You want to make sure all the zest has broken up and is evenly distributed through the mixture. Then set this aside while we sort out our eggs. Separate 3 large eggs. Add the egg whites to a large bowl. We're going to be just whisking them up gently in a few minutes. And if you're nervous about separating eggs, I've made a video showing you exactly how to do it perfectly every time. I've linked that video in the comments below. Whisk your egg whites until they're just a bit foamy. We're not looking for them to hold any air or structure here. This just helps to break down the egg whites slightly so that they incorporate into the dry mixture a little bit easier. Add your egg whites to your dry mixture, and then just mix it together. Make sure you're scraping the bottom of the bowl and getting all of the bits of almond flour incorporated. This soft and still sticky consistency is what you want. I'm using an open star piping tip, quite an open one so that it gives those really nice ridges when you're looking at your cookie, the really classic look to this cookie. I would recommend using a larger, wider piping tip for this, but I tend to lose mine regularly, so I need to order a new one. Any piping tip you have will work, but a larger, more defined one will give you those really nice crisp edges. To fill your piping bag, fold the top of the bag over your hand. You're going to use your hand as sort of a tool to scrape the batter onto. And then just start placing it into the bag. Try and keep it in one solid piece when you're adding it to the bag, and that way you don't get as many air bubbles when you're piping. Gently tap the bag to make sure there are no air bubbles, and then using your hand or a plastic scraper, you just want to push the dough up the bag, just until you're nearly at the edge. We're ready to pipe. My trick for piping straight onto parchment paper is taking a little bit of the batter and just pressing it into each corner on your baking sheet. You don't need a lot, so save some for the next tray, but then just pop your paper down and press into those corners. That way, when you're piping your cookies, the paper doesn't lift up. Pipe about a 2-inch round with your dough, starting on the outside and working your way to the middle. You want to create a mound in the middle because it will help to hold your cherry, but it also gives it the chewy texture that we're looking for. Because this dough is going to chill in the refrigerator, they shouldn't spread too much once baked. You should be able to get away with leaving just a small gap between each cookie. You'll want to let these rest in the fridge for at least an hour or overnight. But if you're in a rush, pop them in the freezer for about 30 minutes and that will do the job. If you don't chill them, you'll lose all of the beautiful definition that you've worked into them with that piping tip. While your cookies are chilling, start preparing your cherries. I'm using glacé or candied cherries for this, and you just want to cut them in half. You want half for each cookie. If you can't find glacé or candied cherries, you can use maraschino cherries. Just make sure once you've cut them, you put them down on some kitchen roll or paper towel. This will help to absorb some of the excess liquid that might make your cookies stain red. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius. Place a cherry on each cookie cut side down and just sort of squash it in a little bit. You can freeze these unbaked, but if you're going to do that, make sure to press a divot into the top of each cookie. Then before baking, place your half cherry on top and pop them in the oven. And into the oven. These will need to cook from anywhere between 14 and 18 minutes, but I'd start checking them at the 12-minute mark, just in case your oven's a little hot. When they start to get a little bit brown on the outside, they're ready. Let these cool on the tray for about 10 minutes before moving them to a cooling rack. If you're not getting that browning that you're looking for on the edge of your cookies, at the very end of baking, pop your oven to broil or grill for a minute or two just to get that little bit of color. This has to be my favorite Italian cookie. They're crunchy on the outside, they're chewy on the inside, and they last for days in an airtight container. They don't lose their texture or flavor, and they're just absolutely delicious and perfect for sharing. If you're looking for another Southern Italian-inspired cookie, you have to try my Sicilian orange cookies. And if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button down below, and I'll see you next week.